Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show designed to help you grow. You are ready to make a splash in your community and in your life. You're ready to raise your game. The show is Ignite the Desire, and that is exactly what we're going to do together. I'm here to talk to you about all the things you always wanted to know, but never knew how to ask for. This show is going to prepare you to take on all those new challenges that come with leveling up in every aspect of life, including social, love, and especially business. Everything is interconnected, and we are going to work together to chisel out your personal masterpiece. Let us get right into today's topics.
Hey, and welcome to Ignite the Desire, the show where we focus on the way you think about your life and relationships, career, business, and everything in between. I'm Cynthia, a wife, mother, cybersecurity professional, and entrepreneur, and you're a host. And today we're going to be talking with Jonathan about health, mindset, and managing those emotions. Jonathan and Charlotte vision is for individuals to recognize that when they are healthy and well, they can be a force for good in the world and support causes that they believe in. With over 35 years combined in health and fitness and wellness, they have been empowering individuals all over the world to become happier, healthier versions of themselves, inspiring people to say goodbye to stress and hello to lasting wellness means less time struggling and more time creating a meaningful impact in the world. Hi, Jonathan, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Cynthia. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on today, and thank you for that warm welcome. That's amazing.
Yes, and we are missing Charlotte. We did mention her in the bio, but yeah.
Yeah, so usually we do these together as a little duo, but today it's just me.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, before I had my son, I wasn't too concerned with health. I stayed the same weight. I did have him later in life. I stayed the same weight. I didn't gain weight. I didn't think about what I eat. I didn't think about drinking water. I didn't do any of those things. And then after I had him, I put on a little weight. And I was like, so what do you do with it? Why is it here? Why won't it go? And so since that time, he's 17 now. So since that time, I've been like back and forth. And then last year, around September, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I really want to be able to take back my health and feel confident in my body. And my children are younger, and I want to ensure as much as I can that long into life, I'm able to be very active with them, with them. So that's how I thought that it would be great to even have like a health segment. So that's what we're in right now, is we're having a health segment about health, being healthy, and all of those things in between. I believe it's important. I think everyone thinks about it a lot, and if you don't think about it, and then you're like, oh, and we do have a lot in the health industry as well. So if you could do anything in the health industry, because you hear so many things, you have like, how many diets are there at any given time? Who knows? This one day you shouldn't eat that. So if there's anything that you could change in the health industry to make it better, what would you do?
Oh, that is a very big question. So many things. Whoa, okay. I think it's kind of starting on the easiest point, or kind of the simplest starting point, is if everyone that in the industry, whether they're a professional or even want the people coming in to just to improve themselves, can realize that there's no right or wrong when it comes to your health. And what I mean by that is this, like you said, there's so many diets out there, there's so many training programs out there, there's so many different ways to work on your mental health, your emotional health, all these things. And everyone's trying to find that thing. Okay, I'm just trying that thing that's going to work, and looking for that quick fix or that way to feel better instantly. And that's fine. So that's normal, because we want to feel better as quick as possible. But what we need to realize is that we're all individual. And instead of constantly listening and paying attention to what's out there, we need to start paying attention and connecting with ourselves. Because without that connection with ourselves, we never get the result. We go through what society is going through right now, which is that vicious cycle of starting a gym program or starting a diet or seeing a therapist, and then they get some results, they feel better for a short period of time, something happens in their life and they stop going to see the therapist or they stop going to the gym, and then they go back to square one again. and then they start again, and it keeps going around and around. And we need to stop that cycle, break that cycle by realizing that it's not about the new program. It's not about the new diet. It's not about losing weight or gaining weight or getting fitter. There's a deeper rooted reason why we want to look after ourselves, why we want to be healthy. We don't know what that is, majority of us, because we don't have that connection with ourselves. We've forgotten that connection with ourselves that we used to have because we've been so conditioned into believing that we have to rely on this professional for this, or we have to rely on this person for that. And no, we don't. We have to rely on ourselves. We have to trust ourselves. But until we build that connection with ourselves again, we don't know the right questions to ask or where to look for the help we need. And otherwise, we go, and like you said, we go from one thing to the next, hoping something's going to work and something's going to stick, but it never does. So it's about, you've got to connect with yourself. First, trust yourself, connect with yourself. Then you know what you need so you can ask the right questions, so you can find the right help that's right for you. And that's so key when it comes to your health. It's very personal. It's not generic.
I love how you said that. And I believe that's what happened with myself. Because like you said before, and of course, you're always looking for something fixed. I'm not going to lie.
We all do at some point.
Take a pill if I could do something. But once I realized that my health is my wealth, and it's very important to me, and it has been, even when I was younger, and it wasn't a big issue because I was really thin. And so it was a big issue then. But when my body did change and I couldn't figure out why. But when I started making connections with myself and why I wanted to do it and what is the best way for me to do this. And once those things started happening, I think that's when I've been able to do it as long as I have now. And I don't think I've been on a health journey this long because now I'm really trying to incorporate it as my life. It's not like something I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Get a quick fix. It should be who I am. And so in the work that you've been doing and things like that, why is it for us to make that connection with ourselves and basically trust ourselves that, I have the answer to do it?
Absolutely. We all have the answer. And that's the thing, is just we've forgotten it. We've forgotten how to trust ourselves and how to trust our body's ability to do what it needs to keep us healthy. Our body's only goal in life is to keep us at optimal health. But optimal health has different levels depending on where you're at. If you're living off junk food, processed food, you're not sleeping well, you're not having good quality sleep, you're not hydrating, you're not moving, your optimal health is starting at a very low level, and you feel crap all the time, you feel rubbish, you feel exhausted. So your body at that level, you might not feel great, but your body's still doing the best it can to keep you as healthy as possible. So it's your responsibility to give your body the right environment, your mind, body, obviously your mental, your emotional, your physical bodies, the right environment to be able to optimize your health as much as possible. So you wake up every morning feeling energized. You go throughout your day, keeping that energy, feeling great, feeling productive, feeling creative, feeling calm, feeling relaxed, feeling at peace, and still feeling driven and ambitious to get and go after what you want. And that comes down to, that's our responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility. It's ours. We have to really take ownership of that. And like you said, we've all been guilty of these quick fixes. I've done it before. I started my career 21 years ago as a fitness professional and then going into personal training. And I was under that illusion. I had to look a certain way, I had to train a certain way, I had to act a certain way in this industry to be accepted. And I was training crazy amounts. I was eating so strict. I would sacrifice my social life, my relationships to do that. Training sometimes twice a day, 2-3 hours at a time, 6-7 days a week. And I was in pain. I was exhausted. I was fed up. I was unfulfilled. But on the outside, I looked great. But on the inside, I was damaged. I felt absolutely rubbish. It wasn't until I started to build that connection of, okay, I need to work on my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, because it's all connected. You can't just go to the gym and eat healthy and expect your whole life to be aligned and balanced. It comes down to how you think, the quality of thinking. It comes down to your emotions, how you feel about yourself, what you're feeling, and actually knowing what you're feeling. And it comes down to how your body's performing energetically as well, is like how you're showing up in the world. All of that is connected. There's no start and end. There's no quick fix to get there. It's all a cyclical effect, which means your thoughts affect your emotions, affect your body affects your thoughts, and so on. It has this combined connection. And that's why myself and Charlotte, we changed from doing what we do. We were so focused on the physical And we always felt there was a missing link. And that's when we start to do the deeper work on ourselves, we start to realize that missing link was that integration between heart, mind, body, and soul. Is regardless whether you believe in the energetic field and the soul, everything is energetic. So everything connects energetic. Our emotions are energy. Our thoughts are electric. Everything is energetic. So by connecting these four and integrating these four, that's when you start to create that lasting changes, whether what we're all about. It's not that quick fix. Like you said, everything we do now will affect us in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And my goal has always been every year is to be healthier and fitter and stronger than the year before. So when I'm 90, I can still do everything I could when I was in my 20s, maybe not at the same intensity, but with no restrictions. And you can do that because age is just it's a human construct. It's something that we've been brought to believe in, that as you get older, you deteriorate, you don't move as much, and you get pain and you get all these problems, and you just accept it and live with it, but you don't have to. Okay, you can change that narrative.
And I believe that very well. And just as the world that will have it, that lately I've been finding a lot of older women, like 70, maybe even they're 80, and they're still like working out. They look fabulous, like
Yeah.
maybe they're 30. So it even confirms that belief more that you can do it, that in your 80s and your 70s, you still can feel great and you still can look great. It's not like you don't have to allow the body to deteriorate by the way you're treating it.
Absolutely. You don't have to live with stress. You don't have to live with anxiety. You don't have to live with pain. You don't have to live with injuries. You don't have to live with it. It's not a part of it. And people say it so many times, it's just the norm. You ask them, like, how are you doing? Okay, just a little bit of pain here. You got pain there, just normal. And I thought, no, that's not normal. Okay. It's being freed from that. It's allowing your body to be free flowing, free moving without pain, with no stress, living in a calm, relaxed state. It's like, that's what should be normal. It's pain and suffering and stress is not normal. Okay. We shouldn't live with it for 24/7 for the rest of our lives. That is definitely not normal.
And speaking of stress, how is it that in your work, or you found yourself, how do you manage those emotions and managing that stress? Because as we're speaking about it, we all know the emotions and the stress play a big part. I didn't realize it, but I can't be an emotional eater. I can't allow my emotions to become so overwhelming. And then I tell myself, oh, if I could eat, and most times it's junk food. If I could eat, whatever it is, then I will feel better. And so how can one start to manage those emotions and those stress factors when they come up?
Yeah. Definitely. Well, the first thing I think to realize is, as a whole, stress is normal. It's a normal physiological response we go through when we go through a challenging time or a testing time. Our body goes through that initial jump on cortisol, and our stress response activates. Our sympathetic nervous system activates. And that's normal because it's something new. It's that fight or flight. It's that danger. It's that threat response. But when we realize that there's no threat, there's no danger, or if there was danger, it's past, our nervous system should go down to what we call the parasympathetic, the rest and digest mode, which keeps us calm and brings our body into a state of recovery. But majority of us spend prolonged periods of time in that sympathetic stress response. So we activate it by something happening, but then we hold on to the emotions attached to it. So if something happens and someone like shouts at us or attacks us, our nervous system kicks into hyperdrive and we get scared. And then when that passes, we're holding on to that emotion and we're trying to overthink it and going, why did this person do this? What is happening? Like, is it something I did? And you start thinking, what did I do wrong? Did I do something? I'm trying to think, what did I do to this person to make them so angry? And you're holding on to these feelings and we keep reliving it. And our brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. And when we keep reliving and replaying that in our head, our brain is just thinking it's happening over and over. So we keep reliving the emotion again and again, and it keeps compounding. It's what we call stress compounding. So it keeps adding and adding to the point where something's going to happen. Like you're gonna kind of experience this like stress explosion. What people do when they go into panic attacks, or they explode and shout and kind of like verbally attack a loved one or something, and they don't know why they're doing it. They have these emotional explosions or physical explosions because of so much compounded stress, because they haven't learned to what we call complete the stress cycle. It's like when stress happens, something happens to you, you've got to acknowledge what's happening and observe and acknowledge the feelings that are coming up. And like all emotions are valid. All emotions are meant to be felt. Like, they're not good, they're not bad, they're not right, they're not wrong. They're all warranted in different situations, like fear. Fear is a warranted emotion. If we're being chased by a lion, fear is a good thing. It kicks our adrenaline and cortisol up to a hyperdrive, and it helps us. It makes us more alert and more aware, and helps us to try and survive. But looking at our phone and scrolling through Instagram and seeing a post that triggers us and makes us fearful, that's not healthy. That's what we call unhealthy stress, and we hold on to that. So healthy stress helps us grow and adapt, and it helps us become stronger and more resilient. Unhealthy stress, it blocks us from being who we are. It stops us from taking that step forward in achieving what we want. It's that unhealthy stress that holds people back, and they're telling themselves, I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to do this, or I shouldn't be doing this. That's that type of unhealthy stress that keeps holding us back, and it keeps building and building. And behind the stress is you got the emotions attached to that, which is why we specialize in stress, because out of every single one of our clients we work with, what we found out that everything comes back to some form of stress. And our job with our clients is to help them uncover the root cause of that stress, where it all started from. And most of the time it starts from somewhere in the past. It's conditioned into us from childhood, growing up. And like you said, when you might get angry at something or fearful or guilty for doing something, that emotion comes up and you think that you've got a problem because you're emotional or you're emotionally eating, but it's got nothing to do. The emotions are there in that moment because of something that's triggered you to think and feel the same way that you felt before, and you're now acting in an unresourceful way by emotional eating. Or even on the other extreme, like I used to do, which was train too much. Is like that was my emotional. So I wouldn't emotionally eat. I would go and kill myself in the gym for hours on end. If I thought I'm stressed or I'm angry, okay, I need to hit the gym. And that was my unhealthy emotional release. So it's important to realize that emotion is just energy. It's energy in motion. And it's important with emotions to understand that they're not bad, they're not good. They're there for a reason, and it's our job to listen to them. So to understand, and it's not about controlling the emotion, it's about understanding and observing the emotion and actually letting it play out, experiencing it. Not resisting and not fighting against it like people do. Is like they experience something and try to push it down. I can't show this emotion. I've got to push it deep down and get on with it and just, push through it. But it's about letting that emotion come up, feeling it in a safe space, whether that's your home, whether that's with a friend, whether that's with a professional. But it's being able to sit there and actually observe what's coming up and feel what's coming up. It might not feel nice, but it's important to feel it and know that you're in a safe space, and you need to let that emotion come up and run its course. Because once it runs its course, you're able to let it go. And then you're able to then choose the emotion and the thoughts you want to think and you want to feel. And that's the thing, we have full choice over how we feel. We have choice over what we think. But we first have to become aware of how we're feeling, and we have to become aware of how we're thinking and what we're thinking to be able to understand those emotions. Like, what am I feeling? Most people when they're stressed, if you ask them, how are you feeling? I'm stressed. Okay. What does that mean? Like, what are you, like, stress is not a feeling, stress is an experience, it's a response. So what are you feeling? And then they go, what do you mean? Like, you say, okay, what are you actually feeling? What emotions are you feeling? And most people don't know. I didn't know. I was very emotionally illiterate for many years. I had no idea, except apart from anger. I knew anger very well. That was my go-to. But I had no idea what anything else was until I started to have to, again, sit with myself, which is uncomfortable to start with, sit in stillness and start to listen internally to what my body was telling me. And feel these emotions. And it was uncomfortable at the start. But once I started to feel them, understand them, I could actually name the emotion. And I understood it. Okay, this is what I'm feeling. Why am I feeling this? Okay, because this has happened. Is it okay? So is this emotion valid? Does it need to be there? Is it a warranted emotion? Is it serving me right now? If yes, you experience it. You got to let it go. You got to let the emotion come out, and you've got to feel it and experience it and let it run its course, and then let it go. And you let it go by choosing to let it go. But if it doesn't serve you and it's actually holding you back and it becomes an unserving emotion and there's no reason why it's there, then it's important to understand where the root of that emotion is coming from to be able to release the emotional baggage you're holding on to, let it go, and then start to climb that emotional ladder. So from fear, if you're experiencing fear, a good one from there is, once you let it go, so get to courage, because that's a higher vibrational frequency. And then you've got gratitude, love, bliss. These are all higher vibrational emotions that make us feel light, make us feel good, make us feel at peace and calm. But then you've got fear, anger, guilt, shame, which are all lower vibrational emotions that make us feel heavy and tired and exhausted and feel the rubbish. But sometimes they're needed. If we lose someone in our life, grief is needed. Fear is needed. Like anger is needed. It's part of the process. But we need to know what we're feeling and understand when to let it go. And so it's understand that all emotions are there for a reason. We have to listen to them. We have to pay attention to them. We have to sit with them and let them be. Don't fight against it. Because when you fight, you cause conflict. You cause conflict. You keep feeling the same emotion again and again.
And what is one way that you can start to manage that emotions or stress? Because I know a lot of times people just don't know how to get started. So what is one simple way you could get started in learning how to sit and do that?
Definitely. Like there's many different entry points depending on the person. Some people have different entry points to where they're comfortable starting with. A quick kind of win is breathing. Breath work is such a powerful tool to use to help slow the nervous system down, slow the thoughts down, and help to bring your emotions back under a more, not under control, but under, I say, easier to become aware of. So one thing that people can do is literally find a quiet place where they don't be disturbed, where they feel safe. Could be in their own home, could be somewhere else. And just sit with yourself, maybe have a journal next to you, and then sit with yourself. Just take some slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, feeling your belly rise and fall as you breathe. And then just sit there and just feel whatever comes up. And then when that feeling comes up, even if it feels uncomfortable, try and name the emotion. Write it down. If you're not sure exactly what the emotion is, write down what it feels like. And I said, the more you can write things down and the more you can write it down, you can start to become more aware of how you're feeling and eventually like actually naming the emotions you're feeling. Like maybe you're sitting down and you're feeling this tightness in your stomach and you're feeling your heart racing and you feel it could be fear coming up. And that could be the emotion you're feeling. It could be anger you're experiencing. Anger sits in the belly. So when we're angry, we tend to get a lot of stomach. And when we experience a lot of intense anger, we get digestive issues because that emotion sits in the stomach, in the abdominal region. So there's many different kind of entry points here, but I think an easy one is, I'll say easy one. It's a lot hard. It's hard for a lot of people to sit with themselves in silence and just listen because it is uncomfortable. But even just 5 minutes, just sit in silence, take some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and you'll feel your whole body calm down. You'll feel your thoughts slow down. You'll feel more in control of your emotions, and you'll be able to just listen and feel them and understand that whatever comes up is normal. It's meant to be there. It's okay to experience and feel it, and then just write it down, write what you're feeling. If you can name the emotion, name it, put it down on paper, because the more we become aware of it, that's 50% of the battle done. That's like once you become aware of what's happening internally, that's 50% of the work done. The next 50% is then letting the process go and understanding how to let go of it and choose the emotions and the thoughts you want to be experiencing instead. So breathing is so key, but also journaling. Breathing, sitting in stillness, journaling what you're experiencing is a powerful starting point.
And I can say yes to that. Yeah. That's exactly how I started, was with breath work. And I still use it today. I like to, get myself rushed up. I feel rushed and then makes me feel a little tense and like, am I going to be able to meet everything I need to meet? And so when I can feel that rising, I tell myself, all you need to do is take 3 deep breaths. Yep. And like you said, it immediately calms my body. It immediately brings all those tensions and everything I have down. And then I tell myself it's going to be okay.
Exactly. And it is going to be okay because it's all okay. And when you take those deep breaths and you calm everything down, you put yourself in a more resourceful space to think more resourcefully, to be able to make better decisions and choices of what's your next step? What's going to happen next? What thoughts are you going to choose? What emotions are you going to feel? Or if you're still not sure how to navigate that, is okay, what's my next step in getting help? Because when it comes to emotions that have been locked away for so long, it can require deeper work needed to dig down to the root of the cause of it. And that can take a long time to do on your own, but it can be quicker to work with a professional who can help guide you through that process to unlock that blocked energy, that blocked emotions, and find out where this root cause is to help you let go of all this emotional baggage so you feel lighter and you can show up as your best self.
Great. I love it. I love it. So, as we're coming to an end, what is your number one takeaway you really want to leave us with?
Oh, number one takeaway. I think just understand that everything you're experiencing in life is normal. Everything you're experiencing is okay, whether it feels rubbish, whether it feels good. It's okay to be experiencing. It's okay to be feeling it. The goal is to become more aware of how you're thinking and feeling and start to make more resourceful choices, because you can choose the thoughts that you have. You can choose the emotions you want to be feeling. Okay. You can choose everything that's happening in your life right now. It is a choice on a conscious or unconscious, subconscious level. So if you're not happy with the life you've got right now, or you're not happy with the way you're feeling right now, you have the power to choose to change that. But I know it seems hard when you're in it and you're in all that chaos and it's going around. But this is where it's important to take that responsibility and start to take those deep breaths and step out of it, step out of the chaos and start to see the bigger picture. And if you're still struggling to do that, is seek help, seek professional help from a coach, from a therapist, whatever that is for you, to help you to unlock that. Like one thing that we provide for, well, anyone free of, completely free is our stress-free wellness scorecard, which works on the health level of stress. We have the life level, health level, and root level. And the health level covers 8 pillars of breathing, movement, nutrition, quality of thinking, emotions, energy, sleep, and action taken. And you can assess all those 8 areas and see where your starting point is, or which area needs kind of the most focus from you. And then we've done a separate video for each 8 area where we talk through it in detail, and we provide tips and tools that you can start using now to help improve these 8 areas. So that's a great entry point for a lot of people to start with and realize that, okay, this might be all I need to get things back on track. And if that's still not working, I need to delve deeper into the root of what's happening. And that can take a lot deeper reflection and maybe some help to do that.
Great. Well, we really hope you enjoyed this episode of Ignite the Desire. You can stay connected with Jonathan and Charlotte directly through their website. And what is that, Jonathan?
The website is thewellnesstheory.com. That's our website where you can find everything on there, all about how to contact us if you need to.
And we will have that in our show notes as well. And you can also share your social media where you at so people can find you there as well.
Yeah, so we're most active on Instagram, which is @wellnesstheory, and then the same on Facebook @wellnesstheory as well. So we're on all platforms.
Great. Thank you for listening to Ignite the Desire. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This will conclude the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay fully up to date. And until next time, be kind to yourself and those around you.